Hello consumers, I'm Altari the Professional Gamer, and this is the Pax Friday Review, a show where we go through all of the new, interesting, fun, and exciting information that has dropped for Pax Day over the last week. This week we got what seems to be a studio update from Mainframe with regards to what kind of information we can expect to get about Pax Day over the next couple of summer months. In addition to that, we got 22 seconds of oddly terrifying gameplay footage of a very large demon spider tree thing. Well, nevertheless, you're going to want to stay till the end of the video for our in-depth analysis of the gameplay footage. But before we get too carried away, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with any of your friends who might be interested in Pax Day. It most certainly helps spread the word about the game and also our small startup channel. So first things first, the developers wanted to notify us that they are people too, and they're going to be taking vacation over the next couple of months. As a result, it's safe to assume that the content release schedule over that period of time is going to be a little bit more sparse, as the developers who are still working are going to be working on what's important, the game. And the ones who are off on vacation, hopefully they are having a very fun time and they're getting to relax with their friends and family. Additionally, Mainframe wanted to update us on where we are in terms of all of the FAQs, and they let us know that we can expect to see some FAQs on crafting, PvE, PvP, the gear system, as well as the user experience and technology for the game, in addition to other features in the upcoming months. Now, they weren't specific on whether or not we can expect any of those during the summer vacation months, but it is very, very exciting to hear that we can expect to learn more on those systems at least before the end of the year, potentially. Other than that, they wanted to tell us what their primary focus has been on the game since the Friends and Family Alpha and since releasing the original announcement on Pax Day. And they've said that, among other things, they've already overhauled their building system with some of the feedback that they've gotten from their Friends and Family Alpha testers. In addition, they are trying to finesse a little of the PvE gameplay and movement to really refine those and make sure that they are really solid experiences for players when they get into the alpha. They have improved the crafting progression system, which we haven't really learned altogether too much about what the crafting progression system is. So hopefully we get a FAQ or an update on crafting at some point in the near future, but it's exciting to hear that they're already iterating on their current systems and getting those more refined. And then in addition, they're working on developing new enemies. Sometimes in MMOs, enemies and mobs seem to get a little bit more repetitive. So it's great to see that they're already working on developing more enemies and more things for us as players to encounter. And I know while some people might be a little bit disappointed that they didn't include iterating on PvP in this focus and feedback section yet, I think it also is important to remind ourselves that in order to have good PvP in a game, the PvE, the reason to go out and engage in risk-based PvP is partially PvE as well. So they're just building on the blocks and building a solid foundation, which hopefully will resonate into a very satisfying PvP system that ties into this. But that being said, developing new enemies is kind of going to be the topic of the latter half of this video. So we have 22 seconds of gameplay footage. Let's take a deep dive into it and see what we can learn. All right, so here are the 22 seconds of gameplay footage that we got. So this is the first time that we're really seeing this type of enemy. And this is the kind of enemies, I guess, that Mainframe are actively working on developing for PvE. And it's a truly terrifying mob, especially if you're facing it as just a solo player. Yeah, nope. Okay, so that's the whole video of it right there. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to note for us on this. The first is, you know, we've seen before these moths, right? We've seen them down in the dungeons. Actually, last week we took a deep dive into the dark depths of dungeons in Pax Dei, and you can check that video linked up here and down in the description. But we saw moths like this before, and they've been described as kind of magical energy that is pushed out towards a player, towards an enemy of these types of entities. So when the player first arrives and you see just all of these moths coming out and fluttering out towards the player, I think it would be safe to assume that this is something that is probably going to damage the player. I do think that these things are able to do damage, and it's just not doing damage here. And you can see the character draws the arrow and lets it fly. Then there's also this kind of black mist that shows up in the footage, and it seemed to have been launched from kind of the backside of the creature. Now, another thing that I kind of wanted to note here is right about here, something that not many people noticed, is it looks like we have some rock structures or rock facings right off in the distance, and you can see kind of the archway over there down in the background. That made me think we have a castle or maybe some kind of dungeon or something that we might have even seen in some old screenshots. Maybe we kind of know where this enemy can be found. First of all, we have identical trees, identical appearance of this kind of biome. You have the gnarled trees, the kind of dying grass. It's not green. It definitely seems corrupted in a sort of way. And this obviously is the same type of biome that this large demon can be found. And it had me wondering, okay, well, we have this map. If this enemy is located in the province of Ancien, then that means the enemy is somewhere on this map. We know that the Empire Ruins in our map video, the Empire Ruins are these dungeons that are located here, these tower-looking ones. But we didn't really know what all of these areas were, all of the kind of almost sushi-looking icons. All we know is that they said RF. Now, a couple of people have since suggested that might mean ruined fortress. And it's very interesting that they said that, because we've seen examples of ruined fortresses before. And thanks again, Pateo, for giving us this map. Over towards this area was Broadleaf Forest Haunted. Now, as you can see, Broadleaf Forest kind of matches up with where all of these RF structures are as well. So that kind of got me thinking, well, maybe what can we expect in these areas? Now, it's a little difficult to tell from this image, but if you look off at the trees in this area, we've seen this screenshot several times, and all of the times that we've seen it, you can tell that the trees kind of in this initial area are like the gnarled trees in this image here. So in the past, I've kind of suggested that this type of biome might be the broadleaf haunted biome. Additionally, with this image, we have a castle-like structure, and it's overlooking a broadleaf forest. This might be the exact location down here in this forested area where the mob that we saw is located. We're starting to be able to piece all of these different locations together. Maybe this creature has something to do with giant demon that all the way back in the original press announcements for Pax Dei was revealed as the demon that they had to try and conquer and ended up failing. This is entirely possible that this very large creature is that large demon, and this is the kind of thing that we're going to be able to expect in the future. But that's all the information that we have for today. So that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with all of your friends who might be interested in Pax Dei. And until next time, I'm Eltari, the Professional Gamer.